Folks, we're going to get underway in about 2 minutes. 2-minute mark. Okay, folks, back on the record here. Hope you enjoyed lunch. Certainly want to convey our thanks to our friends at Hudl, who were gracious enough to provide lunch for us today, and all the preparations to them. A round of applause, please. The last person of our induction selection committee is our MC. And I've had the pleasure of working with him on this committee for the past probably 6 or 7 sessions that we've had on the athletic hall. This is number 13, or number 14, I'm sorry. And to introduce him, it's certainly last but not least, it's my distinct honor to introduce a man who brings today his wit, humor, along with decades of service to others. He's a current member of the Salle Board of Trustees. He's a former teacher and coach here at the Salle Institute. And he is Mr. David J. Kissick.
say decades? You couldn't have just said a few years, decades? One more comment to Tim, that missive that you sent out to all the inductees, 2 to 4 minutes. That probably really help. Again, Mrs. Carter, Jack Reamer, the committee, over the top. It's the best committee I've seen in decades over these years. The process that we go through is significant. It truly is. We read the bios, we gather the information, and you have to know, the 11 inductees, you have to know that there are nominees that aren't here today. You are a select group. But before I do what I want to do about the 11, I have a comment from Mr. Jack Kenyon, who sends his best. He can't be here today, but Mr. Kenyon wishes the best to the inductees. As does Coach J.P. Potier, who currently is coaching his grandson in a championship football game. Tim, how would you like to hear that pregame speech? We might hear it from here. Mr. Lou Rosemary, where are you? Louis, stand up. Former Mayor Troy. Athletic director, varsity football coach, and I think undefeated tennis coach. Undefeated. Joe Hinkle Sr., would you stand up, please? A little quicker. There we go. Stay standing, stay standing. Mr. Hinkle is, has a couple other members in this gathering. He is in the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame. He's in the Lansingburg Education Sports Foundation Hall of Fame. I think it's the Pop Warner Foundation Hall of Fame as well. And he has dedicated his entire life to teaching and coaching and being a role model for the youth of both Lansingburg and LaSalle and anybody else that he happened to come in contact with. Joseph, thank you for being here and thank you for everything. Mr. Rich Booster, would you please stand up? Richard? 19. We are so lucky to be here today, trust me. Historically, we have Olympians, we have Hall of Famers at almost every table. But Richard, 1968 was it, sir? Olympics, speed skating, 1500. Finished in the top half of all the Olympians from around the world. Did you also do the 600 or 500? The 500 meters or just... your brother was in the 500? Both Olympians. Ladies and gentlemen, Richard Booster, Olympian. And just one or two more. Bill McCormick, where are you? William, stand up. Call. Please take this to heart, sir. United States Marine Corps, Corporal, Korean War, extended that World War II generation, the greatest generation, because I have said my entire educational career that you and your generation, sir, all they did was call time out in their life. They went off, they saved the world, came home, went to work, and raised a family. Welcome home, Marine. At this time, I would ask the 11 inductees, I think we have 9 here, to please stand at your table. Please stand up. Stay standing, please. collectively, this is who you are. There are so many similarities in your high school career, professional career, athletic prowess that you achieved. But more than that, what you achieved was to serve as a role model for anybody that came in contact with you. And I know that from what I've read about you. I know that from what I've read in your bio. Stay standing. This is who you are. Unwavering support of parents, coaches, teammates, teachers, and administrators. Did you get that, Dr. Calico? Administrators, too. You are teachers of special ed students for over 50 years. That's special. You are teachers of children of autistic on the autistic spectrum. Very special. You are captain of so many teams, and 3 of you were captain of 3 teams same year. Think about that. Believe to this day that the values and discipline that I learned at the Salle Institute have helped me throughout my career, have helped me to become a better father. One of you credit your teammates on the hockey team and golf team for making you a better person. Credits to teammates and coaches. And later, because of the golf prowess, Michael's going to teach Timmy Whitelaw how to correct that slice. One of you is the current commissioner of the South Atlantic Conference. Attributes their successes to their families for always being there to support them. Acknowledges his mother. Credits LaSalle for providing strong foundation that prepared him for the challenges ahead. Appreciates the balance and approach on academics as well as athletics. Attributes the time spent with coaches, teammates, and teachers as a huge part of building a foundation for his future. Quite a few of you were most outstanding player. Yes, in a game. Some in a league. Some in a conference. I was especially taken with the fact that the mic is going to cut in a minute, but that's another thing. Play the game, yes, to win. But more importantly, do your very best each and every play. Each and every game. That's who you are. Now listen to this. Last assignment at West Point, Director, Plans, Operation and Security. Director, Military Plans Division, Europe. Not Green Island, Europe. Brigade Logistics Officer, Germany. Company Commander, Nuclear Missile Company in Germany. And I'm convinced we have here today 11 of the finest inductees that we have ever had here at LaSalle Institute. So I would like to have a large, long round of applause for our inductees. Jennifer, Deborah, please stand up. Here we go. Round of applause for our assistants over here to your left and right. Thank you. David, when you get a chance, bring your crew out. Or maybe they're out there. Round of applause for Chartwell, please. I just called my wife and son-in-law and said, get over here, we got a wonderful brunch. That's not a breakfast, that's a brunch. Exceptional. I would be remiss if I didn't, before I begin the process, share with you that the Salle Institute, my 15 years here, electric, dynamite, 71 to 85, with Mr. Rosenbillion, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Pelletier, Bobby C., better known as Bobby Kuzak, with the pink shirt. 1973, Dominic, 1973, right? I think of 73, I think of Janice and I getting married in 73. A student that time, Dr. Vincent Hudl, he offered to drive Janice and myself that day. He did, it was a wonderful experience. And he did let us borrow the Hudl Cadillac, that was nice. 1973, Janice and I get married. We're at the Golden Fox. Halfway through the reception, I look out on the dance floor, and there are Steve Peck and Ron Wilson, two of my track wizards. I think Steve ran something like a 424. Ron was a consistent 204, 205, 88 guy. He was 88 and now it's 800. I know that. But I went up to the two of them, they were on the dance floor, and I said, I didn't know Mrs. Kissing invited you. Coach, she didn't. We just thought we'd crash your wedding reception. And they did, and they stayed the whole reception, but they presented me with this stopwatch that I still use 51 years later, and it reads, Coach Kissick, congratulations, best wishes, 1973 track and field team. I could go on, as many of you know, for about a half hour with certain stories about LaSalle, my experiences here, but let's get to the heart of the matter, why we're here. 11 inductees. At this time, I invite Jesse to come up, please. Jesse Braverman.
Okay, I was called upon to pitch it for Will and Zach Remillard, who were unable to attend today. Unfortunately, Zach just recently had his second Tommy John surgery, and he couldn't come. And Will, who's the roving hitting coach in the minor leagues of the Chicago Cubs, as we speak right now, he's overseeing the hitting operation in the baseball academy for the Cubs in the Dominican Republic. So he was not available either. I have to say, this is really a novel assignment for me, because I've never pinch hit for anybody in my life. I was usually the guy being pinch hit for. Now, they had a fun life of pinch hit, but of course, this is more of a speaking thing, not a hitting thing. It's an honor to be able to talk about Will and Zach. I feel badly that they couldn't be here themselves. And I want to start out by telling you a couple of things about both of us. One is a time when Will was in 9th grade, and Zach was in 7th grade, and their dad showed up in the gym during our early season workouts, and he said to me, Coach, I have a couple of good ones for you here. And I want to tell you that is the only time I can think of that a parent underestimated their sons. They weren't good, they were great. How great? Well, first I want to talk about things that are not statistical, because that can be a little boring, although it is impressive. I will have to tell you some. But many times over my many years of coaching, the boys would ask me, Coach, is that college coach going to be here today to see me play? And I got really tired of that question. And I came up with a new answer that I gave every time I got asked. I said, I'm not going to tell you, because you should play every day like somebody's watching you. And I certainly didn't have to tell Zach or Remillard that. But just so you want to give you a concrete example of how important that is, in a game in 2009, late in the season, Will was the junior, Zach was a freshman, and as a freshman, Zach was a starting shortstop, and Will was the catcher in the game. Earlier that day, the coach from Coastal Carolina University had come up to Albany High School to sign a letter of intent with an Albany High School pitcher who was going to be going to his school. And he stuck around that afternoon to watch him pitch, because he was scheduled to pitch against us. He was good. He was very good. And what happened in that game? Zach and Will Reverend stole the show. Will had a home run at Gear Field over the center field bench. That's the equivalent of a major league dimension home run. And Zach showed great athleticism at shortstop. And Gary Gilmore, that's the coach of Coastal Carolina, as I was leaving the park, he came over to me. He didn't know who I was. I guess he knew I was the coach. And he said, I got the wrong guy. But you know what? He made up for that. Because Will started his career at Temple, then he transferred to Coastal Carolina for his junior and senior year. And Zach played all 4 years at Coastal. And Gary Gilmore was pretty happy about that. So let me just tell you now a little bit about these boys individually. Will Remillard, when he started playing with the varsity team as a sophomore, we had a catcher that was pretty established and was an outstanding defensive catcher by the name of Lucas Freitag. And I told Will, I think over this winter, we have to work on getting the skills to play second base. Because I think that's where we're going to be playing his first year. Maybe you can go back in and play after that. This year, it's probably going to be second base. And he worked so hard at developing the skills to play second base, which is not an easy position. You know, good baseball teams are strong up the middle. The catcher, the shortstop, the second baseman, and the center fielder. If you're not strong up the middle, you're not going anywhere. What did Will Remillard do at the position he never played before? In the 2008 season, Will Remillard went 21 consecutive games without an error. In the middle infield. That's almost hard to believe. But that's the kind of athlete and talent he was. And then, when he got a bat in his hands, this is again, statistics that are just flying off the chart. Will Remillard played 28 games in 2008, and he had 45 runs batted in. Now, just to give you a comparison for those of you that may be not familiar with this, still in numbers, Aaron Judge finished the season with 144 runs batted in 162 games. Will Remillard had more RBIs than games played. He was almost averaging 2 RBIs a game as a 10th grader. He batted .411 that year, and especially in this day and age. When I was a kid, we used to be appalled when a batter struck out 100 times. Now they strike out 200 times in a season, nobody cares. Well, Will Remillard came to bat 104 times in 2008. How many times did he strike out? 2. 2. When I look at a hitter, I'm looking at young hitters, the 2 things I look at are bat speed and eye-hand coordination. And I'm not, when I say eye-hand coordination, I'm not just talking about not striking out. I'm talking about hitting the ball with the barrel of the bat. And I can tell you, when Will Remillard was up in batting practice, I was very happy. I had an L screen in front of me. Because the ball would come back, I don't have the equipment, I don't know about exit velocity. All I know is if I got hit by one of those balls, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. So, he was just an incredible athlete. And then on top of that, the sectional championship game in 2008, Joe Bruno Stadium against Columbia, we entered the 7th inning tie 2-2. And we escaped a serious threat in the top of the 7th, which I will talk about later again. In the bottom of the 7th, we got a leadoff man on Brian Fury. He stole second, went to third on a wild throw from the catcher. Now we have a runner on third, 1 out. Columbia coach makes a pitching change. Why? Because he had a left-handed pitcher on Will Remillard was taking the batter's box, so he brought in a righty. And I thought about it. I thought about squeezing, but no. Sometimes as coaches, we get carried away. You've got talent like Will Remillard, you let him play. You let him play and you let him take care of business. He got a curveball, he hit it right back up the middle. That's a walk-off championship hit from 10th grade. So, and Will got it 5 the following year. And then he went on to, well, in 08, he was the first all-area player, the time junior mandatory record. And he went on to play 2 years at Temple, and was the rookie of the year in the Big Five in Philadelphia. Then he went on to Coastal Carolina, when he graduated there. He was the 19th round draft choice of the Chicago Cubs. And Debbie and I went to watch him play in the Midwest League, about an hour west of Chicago. Just as luck would have it, he was injured. So we got to visit him, and I was happy to do that. But he made the All-Star team in that league, and he was head. Unfortunately, health issues and brought his back, sidelined him, and he never did get there. But now he's coaching for the Cubs in the minor leagues. He may not stop there. Well, let's switch over to Zach. Zach, I don't think I've ever had a player more versatile and more athletic than Zach Remillard. There's nothing for the do on baseball. Nothing. They play shortstop, Salle, twice. But it's a rare combination in baseball, on the offensive side of the game, to have a guy that has that combination of power and speed. That's when it strikes in the adjective in the major leagues, superstar, when you have something like that. Zach was just a marvelous athlete, had a terrific kick. What a leader. His personality was a little more outgoing than Will's. Will had a very quiet intensity. Zach was a little more vocal and a great team leader. His teams weren't as strong as the ones that Will played with, and they needed Zach to do that equally as Zach. And what happened after that? He goes on to Coastal Carolina, and in his senior year, he's back in cleanup and playing third base. And what does he do? He leads his team to the College World Series championship. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy to see that for him. In fact, he started the rally in the opening game of the World Series. I think it was against Vanderbilt. How did he do it? As a cleanup hitter, he led off the inning with a bunt. And I was so thrilled to see that because, your coach is 130 pounds and 5'6". You practice bunting a lot. But you know what? He was such a beautiful bunt. To see him win a national championship, then he's a 10th round draft choice of the Chicago White Sox. It's amazing. Both of these boys ended up in the Windy City. And here's the lesson that I have taken to heart. Zach Remillard is a pitch of perseverance. And believe me, it's not a life skill. It's not just a baseball skill. Because we're all going to have ups and downs in our life. Zach did, he went 7 years in the minor leagues. He played 700 minor league games, and he never gave up. And at the age of 29, he was called up by the White Sox in the middle of June last season. Debbie and I were actually in Kansas City watching the Royals, and I was following Zach's debut on my phone. Tim Anderson, the White Sox shortstop, got hurt. Zach goes into the game. They put him at second base. Why even put Zach anywhere? Because in those 7 years in the minor leagues, Zach Remillard played every position except pitcher and catcher. So if you don't think it's important to be versatile, think again. The more skills you have, the better off you're going to be, and the better off your team is going to be. Zach went in to play second base. This was an historic debut. He was the first player since 1948 in his major league debut to reach base 4 times. How did he get in the 4th inning in his first at bat? He beat out a bunt. Next round, he walked. Then he comes up in the 9th inning with the Mariners leading the Royals by the White Sox by 1 run, with 2 outs and a man on second. And Zach gets the game time Then he comes back up again in the 11th inning. And he gets the game winning. This is a fairy tale of a 29-year-old, 7-year minor leaguer. He's the first player to get a game-tying hit and a game-winning hit in his major league debut. He plays all sitting down since 1904. I know everybody in the South. I know Coach Mo, but also knows Pat McKay. He and I was texting each other. We were just so ecstatic, so happy for him to have made it. What a struggle, and he made it. And I'll finish with this. I often get asked, "Yo, coach, you had this success. What do you contribute your success to?" And I'm borrowing this from Bill Parcells. He got the question when he won 2 Super Bowls. The answer is very simple. You got good players. You got good players. And in addition, because I coached Will and Zach Remillard, you're going to have to put up with another speech from me at the end of this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. Well done. Later on, could you get me Will's cell phone number? The Phillies need a hitting coach. If you don't mind, I want that cell phone number. At this time, it's my distinct honor and privilege to introduce to you Dr. Kevin Calico, President of La Salle Institute, and all of the above. Come on in here, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Disick. I didn't get the memo about keeping it to just 2 minutes. I apologize. Well, good afternoon, everyone. If we haven't met yet, my name is Kevin Calico. I'm the president of the Salle Institute. I'm also a member of the class of 1999. I want to welcome you all to the 14th Athletic Hall of Fame induction brunch ceremony. Also want to welcome everybody on the live stream. If everyone can turn around and give a big wave to the camera. If you haven't heard or if you haven't noticed the giant banners to your left and my right, we are celebrating the 175th year of being a school here in beautiful Troy, New York. In over 175 years, there is certainly a lot of history. A lot of that history, as Dave pointed out, is sitting in this room today together for this celebration. And if you're like me and you graduated before we had the turf field, your graduation ceremony took place in this room. It's a very historic setting. You would walk across this stage and you would receive your diploma. It was always an empty case, just in case you hadn't returned your uniform or hadn't paid your bill. And the vice principal or disciplinarian would be standing at the end of the stairs here, just to make sure nobody decided to showboat their way across the stage. So in my day, that was Jeff Loomis, if you guys remember Jeff. And as I walked across that stage now, 25 years ago, as they like to say on the news, thank you, Lydia Colvita, if Mr. Loomis had said to me when I got to the bottom of those stairs, "Hey, Kevin, 25 years from now, you're going to be the president of the Salle Institute," I would have never believed him. That just wasn't going to be a thing. If he then said, "Hey, Kevin, 25 years from now, you're going to be speaking at the Alumni Hall of Fame," I would have looked him square in the eye and said, "Is it because I'm the president?" I had what you would call a largely forgettable athletic career here at Salle, so it's a real honor to be invited to this event. Thank you for having me. Our inductees, however, have forever changed the fabric of athletics here at the Salle Institute. It's an honor for me to be here. Some of the people being inducted today are my former students. Certainly, some of them actually have coached, not in the sport, but famous sport. Don't get excited. There are coworkers, men I worked with here when I was a teacher and fellow coach at LaSalle. I have a couple of teammates being inducted. That's very exciting. And most importantly, there are some men on this list who I consider to be my friends. So it's a huge honor for me to be here. Congratulations on this very significant event in your lives. I can't wait to hear more stories. I didn't know I'd have to follow Jesse Braverman. That was not on the agenda, but we'll be okay. I look forward to the next 175 years of history that we've made here at LaSalle. not just in the classroom, but also with our athletic achievement. As the words on the floor in front of me say, truth, honor, and duty. These are the values that we as LaSalle Institute espouse, and I can't help but think about that as I look at the people being inducted into our Hall of Fame today. So thank you for your commitment to excellence in athletics and into the world that you have left since LaSalle. There's one person who didn't get a fair introduction today, and I'm glad I got a chance to circle back to this. Our beloved MC, Mr. David Kissick. There are only 3 things you know about Dave Kissick. Number 1, he's from Philadelphia, and he's not afraid to tell you that. Number 2, he roots for every Philadelphia sports team, even the Flyers, and he's not afraid to tell you that. And number 3, he's an honorary graduate from LaSalle in the class of 2018, and doesn't he look great for a 24-year-old? You thought you were going to get away with just picking up on these people? Yeah, you're next one. Thank you for this tremendous opportunity to speak to you. Congratulations to our inductees. I'll turn it back over to David this time.
Thank you, Doctor. At this time, I ask Mr. Kevin Gillespie, Director of Athletics, and Mr. Matt Calico, class of 97, to come to the front, please. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Anthony Salle, would you stand up, please? Center. Obviously, I'm not going to read each and every bio, but I hope you take the time either today or tonight or tomorrow to read through each and every bio. Served as captain. Recognized when he was selected as both an all-conference defensive tackle and all-conference center, both ways. Lacrosse program, where he was an invaluable member of 3 years during his high school career. Section 2 championship. Anthony returned to RPI as a member of the offensive coaching staff. And it's a special recognition that he received the under 40 and this goes across the country. If you're pinpointed or highlighted as the under 40 in whatever, you're doing something that's noteworthy. Mr. Casal, you're up.
Truly honored and humbled to be inducted into the Salle Institute Athletic Hall of Fame. This recognition is not just for me, but for all those who have supported me throughout my athletic journey. I've always believed that athletics is more than just a game. It's a place where we learn valuable lessons about teamwork, dedication, perseverance, and sportsmanship. These lessons I have carried with me throughout my life. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to my coaches who instilled in me a love for sports and pushed me to be the best I could be. Their guidance and support were invaluable. I would also like to give Al Rapp a shout. Although I never had the opportunity and pleasure to play for him, he gave me my first coaching job. I had no idea what you were thinking giving a 22-year-old a head coaching job in my life. I thank you for it. To my teammates, thank you for the unforgettable memories we created together both on and off the field. The camaraderie and friendships we forged will last a lifetime. And finally, and most importantly, to my family, thank you, thank you, thank you for your unwavering belief in me. Your love and encouragement have been the driving force behind my success both on the field and in life. As I reflect on my time at Salle, I'm filled with gratitude for the opportunities I was given. This place is special. It has been a cornerstone of my life, shaping me into the man I am today. As we are gathered here today, I want to emphasize the importance of supporting Salle. This is a place where lifelong friendships are formed, knowledge is gained, and leaders are made. With your support, whether time, money, or both, LaSalle is funding scholarships, upgrading facilities, and ensuring that our faculty and staff have the resources they need to excel. Let's come together to ensure that the future generations have the same opportunities that we did. Let's support LaSalle and make a difference in the lives of countless young people. Thank you.
Dominic, you're up. Front and center. Class of 73, Mr. Dominic. Straight ahead, sir. Once again, captain of his team, 72-73. Center, offensive line, middle linebacker, both ways. Offensive center, middle linebacker, both ways. Entire season. All city honors, all area honors. And following his graduation, Dominic pursued a career in law enforcement, serving as a police officer for 25 years. Thank you, sir. In dedicating his support, Dominic acknowledges his mother, Janice, whose enthusiastic support of every game steadfastly carried him through not just the season, but throughout his life. Dominic, you're up.
also an honor. Next, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame Committee for selecting me to be part of this elite members. I will never forget a famous quote by Walter Payton. He said it took a whole team to make a Hall of Fame. We got that sport. I thank all my teammates. I want to give special thanks to George Grant, Tony Tesco, Roz Rumble, Vince Bernal. And if any of you know Larry Zonka, Joe Raskowski. I had the pleasure to play with Joe for 2 years. What a run. What a fighter. What a middle linebacker. Kirk Vazio, Guy Augusta, J.R. Salle, 140 pounds, and John Donovan, my rest of the soul. They were all outstanding players on the team. Any one of them could be here today. But George, we went to school 4 years together. We played all 4 years together. George played all other sports. I just want to, I heard about the New York State these. George recently also was inducted into the New York State Hall of Fame. Stand up for everyone. I want to end by saying thank you to my wife, all of my family and friends for joining me this afternoon. The school, as Mr. Salle said, it builds men. You know, we came here as boys, we left as men. That's for sure. Brothers were tough. Laborers were tough. Kids, it was nice. Mr. Rosenvilla, Friday, our JV football coach. I believe it was your uncle, Mr. Scott Kelly, who used to beat us. That's the truth. That's what I wanted to say. Special thanks to Roz as well. This year over here, I got to meet this year the art class reunion of 50. He worked so diligently preparing everything without you. And that's God bless us, Sal. Go Texans.
Dominic, Mr. Kenyon called me last night. You owe him 3 assignments. And he wants them. Mr. Jared Hinkle, front and center, please. Mr. Hinkle, also. When inductees are nominated, the person doing the induction recommendation sends in a bio on that particular candidate. I have 4 pages on Jack. I will not read all 4, and I will do my level best to give him the due recognition. Gary attended the Salle Institute from 1999 to 2008, recognized as having one of the most storied athletic careers in school history. In hoops, he registered 2 years varsity, becoming a starter, team captain. Also on a team, Taylor Battle, I think, played for Penn State, not a bad company. Captain of the 2007 baseball team that went undefeated in Section 2, won the Big Ten title, Brother James Memorial Tournament, up to the same tournament, and Section 2 championship, New York State Regional Championship. In 2018, finished second that year, but they had a stellar year. Baseball team, 27-1, 1 year. Won 27 consecutive games. Lost that fun. James Allen, Troy record. Trailing dribble in 17 zip in the 4th quarter. He led a Salle rally to a 28-17 comeback. Liberty League Offensive Player of the Year, Time Junior All-Area Large School Team quarterback, throwing for 1568, 14 touchdowns. It goes on and on. As was just mentioned here, LaSalle Institute is a builder of fine young men, guided by the Spirit of St. John Baptist LaSalle. 3-time Section 2 AA champion, 5-time league champion, 3-time captain in senior year. Gary, congratulations.
Thank you to the committee and all the great people involved in this event. The place was great. It's nice to be back in the walls of the Institute. Dan, you can stop sending letters in now for this nomination for the award. Thank you folks for that to the committee. And sorry for those last 13 years of letters. It's actually really easy to have big stats when you have your dad do the quote and the stats for each of your teams. It lines you up pretty nice for the future, just for all you young guys out there. The Salle is a large part of my identity and my purpose, truth, honor, and duty. You can tie every positive value to those 3 words sitting right here in front of me. I've always been a person that likes to keep it simple, so just work for me. What does truth mean to me? Truth to your peers. Having the hard conversations when needed with your teammates and your buddies. Sometimes saying the quiet part out loud. Truth to your coaches. Sometimes you have to tell Coach Rapp we should be passing the ball rather than running it for the 4th time in a row. Truth to yourself. Not everything is going to go as planned. In life, with sports being a fascinating microcosm, has its ups and downs. What does honor mean to me? Every time you put on that uniform, whether it be jacket day or game day, you're honoring the community you represent, your family, your hometown community, the Salle Institute, and whatever life endeavors are there for. Very cliche saying, you play for the name on the front rather than the name on the back. It seems so simple, but throughout life, you see this time and time again. That's true in sports, in your career, in your faith, and most importantly, in your family. You honor the people that sacrifice the time and the energy supporting you before, throughout, and after your playing career. What does duty mean to me? Duty is getting the job done. Putting in the hours for a goal you want to achieve. It is sitting arm in arm with your brothers on the field during the national anthem, and each guy down that line was given the opportunity to succeed based on the work that has been done to that point right there. That is duty. Knowing your brother is going to be there when the time is right. But that's just the duty as the players. The work on the field is the cream on top. It was the countless hours of practices, camps, workouts, car rides, batting practice, meals, caterings, washing uniforms, stain removal, bags packed. That was the real meaning of duty. And that goes out to our parents and our families. You don't realize it growing up, now that I have two beautiful children of my own, it takes a village. As some of you may know, I lost my mother sophomore year during baseball season. She was my rock. Our community was on the ropes. Well, I'm proud to stand up here today and say, you guys pulled the rope out for the Hank family. And I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. As I look through the photos of me playing sports, you see the people who knew that he had taken a hit and stepped up to the plate. Duty. And for that, I'd like to thank a few people for being there for me in those times. All my teammates, dealing with me and bailing me out on third and long, or with runners in scoring position. Coaches, Coach Graver, baseball, Coach Uncle Brian, Luke Dodge, Walter Silver-Vega, all my summer baseball coaches, to my football coaches, Al Rapp, Gary Law, Coach Maloney, Coach Farrington, and Coach Magneto. Basketball, Coach Bruce, Coach Beadell, Van Ryan, Coach Brown, Little South staff, Colonel, First Sergeant Smith and Peters, the rest of the staff who I've forgotten. To all my trainers, coaches, who I've forgotten. Thank you. Friends and parents, Grandma Brown, Josh Brown, the Furies, Brian Fury, one of my best friends growing up, Craig Ward, his mom Judy, Matt Chanel and the Chanots, the Reardons, the countless other selfless people that attributed to my journey. Family, Rob and Mom, I hope you're smiling down on this all today. Joe, Alicia, Bob, you three have done more for me than you could even realize. Aunt Kelly, Uncle Kevin, Uncle Brian, Mr. and Mrs. Burr, Grandpa Bill, McCormick. To my family, Shannon, Ryan, and Ray, thank you for being you. May we carry these values that I spoke about previously for this and the next generations to come. Thank you, Kathy Green, for being here today. I have one final person I'd like to thank, and I'm probably getting my 4-minute maximum here. I don't want to get any close. My father, known for his tough love and intense coach-player relationship. We were able to turn it off after the final whistle and be there for each other in times of need. When you speak of truth, honor, and duty, this man exemplifies the meaning. At 45 years old, he lost his wife and had a 15-year-old boy, myself, with big aspirations, 2 kids making their way in the world. That was his truth he had to stare in the face. He was posed with the challenge of honoring these values without a second-hand help. This is where the community has stepped up, and our family is forever indebted to you. Thank you, Dad, for following through on your duties and helping me chase my dreams. The million batting practice balls, the Friday night baseball football game into the cars Saturday morning at 6 a.m., drive to Long Island for a doubleheader on Saturday, doubleheader on Sunday, back to work and school Monday morning with the hot meal. Your selfish approach to life has brought you where you are in the community today. I one day hope to sit in the crowd out there and watch my Sunday speech up there on stage like this. You stress these values day in and day out from the time I was young to today. I wouldn't be here without you. Because I'm probably about 6 minutes at the moment. But I'd like to thank Salle for being there for me in times of need. We've had our ups and downs. I thank you for further instilling the values of truth, honor, and duty. If you could analyze all the names on that board out there that have been inducted into this Hall of Fame, you can tie those 3 values to all those people. This community is what we're honoring today. is on board. It is us, the community around us, to continue this tradition. Congrats to the other inductees. Everyone enjoy their days. Thank you for welcoming me and my family back to Open Arms. Have a nice day, all, and may God bless.
This is what I do know. Somewhere in heaven, St. John Baptist de La Salle is smiling. Well done, Eric. Well done. You know, for 15 years here, I taught English, and one of the concepts I often went through was characterization. The development of a character by what one says and does, and by what other people say about them. And if I could quote Shenandoah coach, I think Brent Starwell, who said of you, one of the best athletes in Section 2 ever, as well as one of the best quarterbacks ever. Well done, sir. Mr. Michael Lang, class 81. Come on down. Two-sport, captain, hockey, golf. Named the master of icing green. Felt the values and discipline that he learned at the Salle Institute stayed with him forever, well into his career. Lou, he's retired. That's how old we got. Capital One, and then he retired. Been married for 26 years to his wife Caroline. They have a son Matthew, junior, Rensselaer Polytechnical Institute, and daughter Alyssa, who is a junior West Morris Menlo High School. Golf lessons down the road. All right. Tim Whiteboy, sitting right over here. Need your help. Sir.
Start by thanking our convoy who started this process and not me. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today. I'd like to thank you, Salle, the Hall of Fame Board of Governors, for this honor. This means more than anything you can imagine, and I'm very honored to join such a distinguished group with Salle Athletic Hall of Fame. My years at LaSalle are some of the most cherished memories I have. The school instilled work ethic and values that are still with me today. And I only needed to visit Brother John once during my 4 years at LaSalle. That's not. Most important, I think LaSalle was an environment where kids were allowed to be kids in a safe, nurturing environment. I'm sure that it's still that way, which is so critical given the craziness in our world today. It was a privilege to be part of the famous LaSalle hockey team. LaSalle was known for having great hockey teams before my years here and after. So to be named captain in both my junior and senior years was a true honor. Amazing coach Denny Hess. What more could be said about that? We were the first LaSalle team to go to Europe to play against Scandinavia. I think people still talk about that trip. I still remember the bond I formed with him and all my teammates, including J.P. Thomas, E.J. Karina, Joe Gunther, and Dave Danish, and so many others. Woo! brotherhood working together, watching each other's backs, and celebrating together. I was fortunate enough to experience this with my LaSalle golf team as well. In 1980, my junior year, our golf team delivered the first Big Ten title for LaSalle in its school's 150-year history. And for those who said we just got lucky, we came back the following year and delivered the trophy again in 1981. For all this, and so much more, I thank LaSalle.
Colonel, you're up. Colonel Joseph B. Ruskowski, class of 72. In the introduction, I read some of his comments referencing the Colonel's experience in the military. That's part of why he's here today, but it's also because of his athletic prowess. Somebody mentioned Larry Zonko. I remember Larry. He used to run over the Eagle. He ran with his body, protecting the ball, his knees turning up to his chest. I only had to try going straight at it one time in my career. I'm sorry I did that. Always thought that Mr. Cameron, physics teacher, should have used Joe as an example of force equals mass plus acceleration. Physics. The Colonel is a leader. He's a leader of men. He's also a leader of boys. He sets the example for the staff here in LaSalle Institute. The Board of Trustees admires him immensely. He's always there, always probing questions, looking for the direct answers to help the student body. That was his purpose. That is his purpose. Colonel, congratulations.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very honored to be selected for the Salle Athletic Hall of Fame. My sincere thank you to the selection committee, especially Mr. Jack Weaver, former chair, and Mr. Tim Whitelaw, current chair, and also congratulations to all fellow inductees. As you may have noted, this year's class spans 4 decades of LaSalle student athletes who in their time at LaSalle and after LaSalle used their God-given talents to excel in athletics and to build successful careers. Even though we walked these hallways in different decades, we were educated to the same standards, the same values, and in a faith-based, caring environment of the brothers and sisters. I did not only have the opportunity to play football at LaSalle and receive a great education, but as an administrator for the past 25 years, I had the pleasure of knowing 7 of the current inductees, not just knowing them, but watching them excel in the athletic field, sport, and on the golf course. I also had the pleasure of watching Jesse Baker, coach of our baseball team. It is no wonder that 3 of this year's inductees are baseball players. We talk all three of them have done a real good job. And they gave Will and Zach a lot of praise and accolades. But I will tell you that without his guidance, they would not have been as successful as they are. We were very fortunate to play sports at the Salle. Yes, we had individual talent, but it was the coaches that helped build on those talents and develop the necessary skills for us to be successful. Personally, I am most thankful to my coaches, especially Coach Pete Maddow, our football coach. Coach Maddow passed away in '99, the year that I came back to the Salle. My one regret is that I never told him how important he was in my life. Coach Maddow inspired his players. He taught us the importance of having a winning spirit, to be individuals of character, to work hard, to be self-motivated, and to be a selfless member of the team. He inspired us to be successful, not only in sport, but also in life. That's what Coach Maddow means to me. But I will tell you, what I've noticed in the past 45 years, all our coaches do that for our students. It is my belief that as athletes we are better off because of the coaches who touched our lives, who work to motivate us and to give us guidance towards our goals. It was Coach Maddow who told me to always try to do better today than I did yesterday. I had several Division I offers, including West Point, to play Army football. I relied on Coach Maddow for their guidance. He told me that I had the talent to be successful in any school I chose. However, he said that playing football for Army was probably my best choice. He said that if you get hurt, which I did not plan on doing, he said if you get hurt or choose not to play football anymore, if you go to West Point, you still continue your education, and you will still graduate, and you would not owe them any money because the tuition was paid for by that school. My problem was that my SAT scores were not good enough to get into West Point right from the start. So I had a choice: choose another school or take a long way from the Salle. So I enlisted in the Army, got some basic training at Fort Dix, and attended the West Point Prep School in Virginia. I increased my SAT scores quite a bit, and that gave me admission to West Point. I believe that sometimes you all have to take the extra mile to get what you want. For me, that extra mile was the year at the West Point Prep School. So I took a chance and followed Coach Maddow's guidance, and I have never regretted it, and I am always very thankful. Sometimes, though, I think that Coach Maddow's guidance was more of a prediction. During my last prep school football game, I broke my ankle, and that became an issue for me during football practices at West Point. So I played my freshman year. Beginning of my sophomore year, I decided to give up football and focus on academics. Best decision I could have made. Again, thanks to Coach Maddow. I think we all know that being a member of the athletic team is unique. To give individuals the opportunity to work together, get to know each other, support and inspire each other. Win or lose, you do so as a team. I have always remembered and been thankful to my teammates who played with me, especially the last 2 years at the Salle. Without them, I would not have been successful, and my career would probably have gone in a different direction. I will tell you that I don't remember who sat in front of me in most of my classes, but I remember who blocked for me on a football team. And one of those blockers was Dominic Conklin. Dom, it is my fortune to be inducted to this athletic hall of fame with you. The other running back was George Rafferty. And he said today we were successful because everybody keyed on me and my partner. So congratulations. I can also tell you that the teachers at LaSalle were great during my time here as a student, and they continue to be great, especially today when we have girls at LaSalle. Everything worked out perfectly over the last 4 years. The well-rounded education that I received was invaluable to my lifetime, and I know that most drivers feel that same way. Thank you to our teachers and our administrators. The Salle gave me the foundation to build two wonderful careers in which I had the pleasure of working with young people. Traveling throughout Europe and the States, and returning to the South to inspire students the way that I was inspired. I enjoyed my life from the beginning, but the last 25 years working here at the South with some wonderful parents, athletes, student athletes. It's just been a wonderful time for me and also for my family. Although LaSalle provided me with a great education and the opportunity to be successful, it was my parents who sacrificed so that I could attend LaSalle. And I have always been thankful and grateful to their sacrifice. Because before I close, I want to thank my brothers and sisters and their families for their love and support, and thank you to my brothers for being here with their families. I also thank my sisters-in-law and their families for their continued support, love, and for being here. Finally, I consider myself to be very blessed because in October of 1970, God gave me the courage to call the girl that I would spend the rest of my life with. Randy, thank you for your continued support and love and for always being with me. And for those of you who have not heard the story, our first date was in the school parking lot at the bottom. You are truly my soulmate. We actually met in third grade, but that's another story. Thank you to my daughters and their families, Sean and Pilar, for your love and support. Along with you, your mother, and your children, you are the blessing that I have cherished all my life. Finally, thank you all for being here. And thank you for everyone involved in doing this production, especially Roz. It's truly been a wonderful day. Thank you all.
Connor Sutton, class of 2012, please. Great smile. I consider it an honor to introduce you, Connor. All-American honors, second place finish, the Reno Tournament of Champions. Connor also achieved 5 All-American honors, high school through college. Later taught high school calculus, economics, and math. More importantly, we taught children with autistic spectrum, on the autistic spectrum, and for that, they will be forever grateful. Thank you for being who you are.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Eddings, Mr. Hayes, Mrs. Claus, Mr. Leonard, it's good to see you guys. Really nice to be back here and see some familiar faces. Growing up with 3 older brothers who all went to this school, I was a part of LaSalle wrestling long before I attended school. With my father coaching the team, I attended almost every practice and tournament since first grade. While watching grueling weight cuts, contentious sparring sessions, and merciless sprints through these very hallways, I'm honored and humbled to be standing here today as an inductee into the Salle Hall of Fame. When I think back to my time at the Salle, I am reminded not only of my victories, but also the hard work, dedication, and support that it took to get here. Win or lose, I didn't have to look far for positive reinforcement from both coaches and teachers. Wrestling teaches you a lot about life: discipline, resilience, sacrifice, and perseverance. But more importantly, it teaches you about the strength that comes with having people in your corner. I'm grateful to my coaches who pushed me beyond my limits, especially my dad, my teammates who believed in me, and my family whose support kept me focused. I share this honor with all of you who helped shape me, both on and off the mat. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow inductees. Today we're not celebrating just individual achievements, but rather the legacy of the Salle and the community that helped us achieve them. Thank you, and go Cadets.
Class of 2003, Jeremy Zalato, please. How about these highlights? 3-year starter for the Salle basketball team. Led the team to the 2003 sectional championship. Named Class A most valuable player. 1,300 career points. He was named a 2-time All-Region performer, first-team All-Area. Gives much of his success to his family and teachers. Following graduation, Jeremy continued his playing career at St. John Fisher, helped his team for undefeated regular season record, 2004-2005, when the team finished 28-1, spot in Sweet 16. Associate Commissioner of South Atlantic Conference. Jeremy, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Such an honor to be here today. It's incredible to have this in the gymnasium that I played basketball in. It's wild. 2003 feels like a long time ago. And just to be in here, I can close my eyes when I walk in. I can see my dad and brother watching my games from up here. I can see my mom and sister and my mom's best friend Ellie watching the game from right here. And I can close my eyes and I can hear Coach Ruscio yelling at me, come here a lot, there, over there, in the middle. But truthfully, Table 19 is the reason I'm here today. First and foremost, my coach, Brian Ruscio, the greatest coach I've ever played for in my life. I've used a lot of the lessons that he taught me inside these 4 walls in my professional career, in my career as a father. I wouldn't be the man I am or the basketball player I became if not for Brian Ruscio. He was my head coach. He was also a father figure in my life. And I'm indebted to him. And just seeing him sit with my son and daughter and meet my wife, it's one of the greatest moments of this weekend. The other 2 gentlemen at that table, my father and my brother. My dad was also my coach as a child and put pushed me and was always there for me, rebounded 1,000 of my shots, threw me 100 fastballs a day, threw me 100 grounders a day. And once I finished playing here, and playing at St. John's, was always behind me 1,000%. And my brother, he's going to tell you he beat me 100 times a day in the driveway. He's right, he did. But without the pushing and the constant support of those two, there's no way I would become the basketball player I became or the man I became. On top of that, the females at that table, my mother and my sister, as I mentioned, would make it here for all my games. And were my loudest supporters, my number one fans. Right here, I got to hug my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. I scored my 1,000 point right here in this spot. And those are the memories that I'll have for my entire life. We won a lot of games. We were very successful. Couldn't do that without teammates, without the coaching staff, without the support. No one can really be here without the support of those around me. And those are the reasons why I'm here. To my wife and my children. My wife said she wished she knew me the time I played here, and I'm glad she did. She would not have been my wife. She would not have had any interest in me at all. So thankfully we met in college. She gave me the two greatest gifts that I've had, and it's those two right there, Mason and Mila Clark. And I can't thank them enough. They didn't know me at this time, but again, my biggest support system. So to anyone else, my teammates, my coaches, anyone else, the selection committee, Chuck, Eric, for helping nominate me, all you other inductees, congratulations. Thank you so much. Go Cadets. Thank you.
It's always family. And from the class of '88, Scott Zalewski, please. Scott. Track and field. Scott graduated on in '88. He played 11 athletic seasons of possible 12 during his 4 years. He excelled in football, track, and lacrosse. He captained his senior year in football and lacrosse. Scott was a major contributor to the Salle 85 indoor track section 2 championship, earned medals in the mile, 2 mile, relay, and the 300 meter races, which is kind of rare, a mile and 300. He set the indoor record for the triple jump, and then later on, he petitioned with Brother James, Mr. Mulcahy, to get a lacrosse program going here in the South, and so far it's reaped tremendous dividends over the years. Section 2 Class B champion. Scott's offense would go on to help produce 2 academic All-Americans at the attack position of lacrosse. Offensive team set a single school record of 295 goals, a scoring average of 17 point whatever goals per game. The lessons learned at the Salle helped Scott to become a successful pharmaceutical executive in his professional career. I'd like to thank all his teachers and staff here at Salle. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you. I gotta get glasses to come home. Not close, but close. My brothers, I'll try
try to make this as entertaining as possible. For those folks in the back of the room, it's tough to hear, so I'll make sure to try to make sure my voice is heard. But I just first want to acknowledge and thank the Board of Governors. It's really humbling and honored to be inducted. A special shout out to Coach Leonard. Coach Leonard, thank you for 4 years of indoor track as well as outdoor track. I promise I won't tell the story. But Mike, you were there when we got lost in the woods and we thought we would take a quick shortcut. And it was an hour later, and Mr. Leonard was driving his little blue Nissan, and he has the patience of a saint, Mr. Leonard does. Mr. Leonard, so thank you very much. I'd also like to thank Dan Brown, who couldn't be here today, but he was an individual that nominated me. His commitment to LaSalle and the lacrosse program is certainly immeasurable. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my family for being here to celebrate this acknowledgement. I truly love you guys. You guys are phenomenal. But I do want to tell you guys a quick story. My first introduction to sports was when I was a kid in the 1970s. And I used to follow my dad around. I was like 7 or 8 years old. My dad belonged to the Colony Racquetball Club. If you guys remember, racquetball in the 70s was a big thing. He would go to the local high school gym, play basketball, pick up basketball with his buddies. And so I was 7, 8 years old, and I would just kind of tag along and just see the camaraderie amongst all of his buddies and his friends. And that was my first introduction to sports. It kind of set the tone for me. So I want to thank you, Dad, for all those things, who also happens to be in the Hall of Fame at his high school at Tamron. So fantastic running back in his day. So thank you. We'll fast forward 30 years, and my dad and I are working around the house. And I was up at we have a place up in the Adirondacks, and it's built upon piers, and the piers were falling down. And my dad and I were underneath the foundation, and we were covered in mud, head to toe. We were shoveling with little tiny shovels, and we just couldn't fix this foundation. We couldn't fix this pier. We were under there for about an hour and a half. And we were just covered in dirt and mud and everything else. And he turned to me and he said, "So what are you going to do, quit?" I learned at that moment, right then and there, how much an impact my dad had on my life. Because you don't quit. I knew the question was rhetorical. It was a question that doesn't need to be answered by anyone, because all of the athletes that we've introduced so far, and all of those athletes that are in the Hall of Fame, they all don't quit. Nobody quits, including myself. I might have run out of track room. I might have run out of time on the clock. And I also wanted to say thank you to Mr. Borgang in the back, who's also a member of the Hall of Fame, because he also helped me facilitate this as a high school kid. We used to play pickup basketball over at John Keller's house, and we used to play around Gable, Rochester. We used to literally beat the heck out of each other. And we never stopped. It was, I might win, he might win, Johnny might win. And what would happen is we'd just say, let's go again. Let's go again. Because I will beat you the next time. I will beat you the next time. I might have lost this one, but I'll beat you the next time. That brings me to final thought. Salle is a special place. It provides the necessary tools to exercise not only your mind, and not only your body, but also your spirit. The sports and athletics provide you with that suffering that is needed. Okay? We all need to suffer a little bit. I was listening to a podcast while traveling on an airplane one day. It's called Bible in 365 Days by Father Schmidt. I want to end with this note for you guys. It comes from the Bible. They talk about rejoice in your suffering, because suffering leads to endurance. And endurance will build character, and character will provide hope. So I thank you.
Mr. Braverman, front center. As with all the other inductees, I encourage him to read Jesse's bio. It speaks volumes about who he is and who he continues to be. Youth sports for 45 years, including 20 years in the South. His record during his 20 years in the South, 253 versus 104, including 6 seasons at Bethlehem. His overall record is 337 and 166. It's a record. It goes beyond that. Coach Braveman wishes to express his appreciation to the South for giving him the opportunity to coach. Thanks to his players for their effort, commitment, perseverance, and grace under pressure. 50 years as a special ed teacher. A lot of wins, a couple losses, but a career dedicated to the youth of America. Congratulations, sir.
I think this is kind of an act of survival. There's so many people out here today, many are from Bethlehem. I spent 32 years. What's that? Because I'm so short. And I'm so glad to see all these people. Special thanks to Joe Wiskowski for those kind words. Well, Sal, and this has been a dilemma for me. I know nobody thinks I have a dilemma when I have to come up here and speak, but it was a dilemma because I feel the situation is backwards. Well, Sal is honoring me, but I think I should be honoring Sal. When I think of what they did for me, I think of a quote from the movie Titanic. The main character said that she had been saved in every way a person can be saved. And that's pretty much what LaSalle did for me. This is an uncommon school. I know, I've been in 50 years of teaching. I know how different this school is. They actually are what they say they are. And that's not too common nowadays. Just to give you a brief context so you can appreciate the depth of my passion for LaSalle. 24 years ago, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. I lost my team at Bethlehem, and I wasn't able to even go into my classroom for a year and a half. And then Ken and Norm Hader invited me to give baseball lessons at the sports farm, and that seemed to be the first of many steps to help me. But something happened at the sports farm, which I think will give you a quick synopsis of what I was dealing with at the time and how far the South brought me. I was giving lessons, baseball lessons, and one of my customers was a little 7-year-old boy whose father brought him each week. And the father was a Section 2 football referee, so he had kind of an inkling about what was happening to me. And about the 5th lesson, he says to me, "Father, so what are you doing these days?" I said, "You're looking at it. This is what I'm doing." And he said, "Well, how would you like to come to work for me?" I said, "What do you do?" And he said, "I own a funeral home." And I said to him, "Well, what would I do?" And he said, "Well, I'm always looking for somebody to drive the hearse." To which I replied, "Are you kidding? The way I'm feeling right now, I shouldn't be driving the car, I should be riding in the back." But you know, I actually did it. I must say that's the only time I never got any complaints about my driving. So during that period, there were many people that kept my head above the water. Patrick Hughes, one of my star players in Bethlehem, was is now playing baseball at RPI, and he has Coach Carl Steffen, the head coach. You think he can ask Coach Gregory to be a volunteer coach for RPI? And he did. So I spent a season and a half with RPI, and that was pretty good therapy for me. Then there was another baseball player from Bethlehem, Kyle Snyder, who's not here today, because he's teaching and living and working in Arizona. And on a trip I made to Arizona while I was out of work, my friend, Dr. Bill Rappaport, my lifelong friend, he drove me to Phoenix from Tucson. And Kyle was having a baseball practice for his baseball team out in Arizona. He handed me the final bat and said, Coach, you run this practice. Another big step to getting me back on my feet. And then, probably the most accomplished baseball player and person that I've known in my professional career, Matt Cottrell. Star baseball player at Bethlehem. I first met him when he was 11 years old. I would throw a batting practice to him, and he was killing it. Broken fingers, bruises. My wife, Debbie, didn't know that much about baseball. For Christmas, she bought me an L screen so I could keep pitching batting practice to Matt Cottrell. Matt today, for those of you who don't follow baseball, that's okay, is now the manager of the Kansas City Royals. There's only 30 of those jobs in the whole world, and he's got one. What do I think of Matt Cottrell? Well, the baseball part. That's not bad. What I used to tell people about Matt Cottrell, if I had a daughter, that's who I'd want to marry. And that's why he's such a great manager, too. It's not his baseball knowledge. A lot of people have that. It's the kind of person he is. What did he do for me during that time? Well, he was in his playing career in the minor leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays. He was recovering from Tommy John surgery. And one day, he calls me and he says, I got to work on a new position. Tommy John, I don't think I'm going to be able to catch anymore. So can you come with me to the bubble with you, Albany, and we work on my skills in playing the infield and some fun goals? You know what? He didn't have to ask me to do that. He could have asked anybody to do that. He was an assistant coach at Albany right then as a volunteer. But no, he knew I needed help. So he asked me to do it. And I'll never forget that. In fact, I got a text from him this morning. He said, I was thinking about surprising you coming to the event today, but he had just lost his college coach who just passed away, so he had to go somewhere else for the funeral. But I texted him right back and I said, thanks for thinking of coming. But if you did, I'm sure I would have had a heart attack right on the spot to see him. And then there's my lifelong friend, who's not here today. In the airport Thursday with his wife to fly in from Tucson. We've been friends since kindergarten. Dr. Bill Rappaport, 68-year friendship, and then his wife had suffered a health emergency in the airport with the country. But I cannot not tell this story. Twice while I was out of work, for a year and a half, and that was painful because I love what I do. And Bill said to me, when I get home from the hospital, he's a surgeon, a professor of surgery at the University of Arizona Medical School. He said, when I come home from the hospital today, Jess, let's go out. We'll go to a movie or something. I said, okay, Bill, sure, whatever you want to do. So, came home, get in the car, and he says to me, Jess, do you mind if I make one stop on the way to the movies? I said, no, well, we don't. He said, don't worry about that. You'll see when we get there. We stopped at a mobile home park, a less fortunate part of Tucson. He knocks on the door of the mobile home, and he's checking on a patient that he operated on a few days ago. Now, who does that? Who does that? And I found that little episode to be incredibly inspiring. I gotta get myself together and get back to doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's when it comes to the Salle. So the Salle baseball team actually showed up at the sports barn in January of 2003. And coach, beloved coach, Sal Corino, I didn't know him personally, but you know, it's a subculture. We heard of each other. Even though he didn't know me, he came back into that office and he patted me on the back and said, hang in there, coach, we're all pulling for you. 3 weeks later, Sal Corino was lost in the world. In a tragic automobile accident, when she was acting as a good Samaritan. He was trying to help a disabled driver and get hit by a car. I think everybody in this room, we're all athletes, we're connected to an athlete. We all know the expression, which isn't just a sports expression, but that's where it got started. A fair weather fan. We know what a fair weather fan is. Well, I'm telling you, without a doubt, I would not be standing where I am right now. My wife, Debbie, had been a fair weather fan. No way. So what did she do? She suggested, why don't you apply for the job at Salle? I said, I can't. The man just passed away. He was a good man. I'm not going to do that. Then a couple of days later, Salle put an ad in the newspaper. He said, now will you apply? And I said, you don't get it. If you're a coach in college or the pros, and you get fired from your job, as I did from Bethlehem, you land on your feet and you go somewhere else. If you're a high school coach and get fired, everybody thinks you're doing something terrible. And I was very apprehensive about putting myself out there again. But Debbie would give up. And she talked me into doing it, and I did show up here. And I somehow got this job. And when I got that job, I was teaching in my classroom at Bethlehem. I finally got back to that job. And Pat Mulcahy called my house. Debbie picked up the phone. I wasn't there. And he told Debbie that I was going to be the next baseball coach of the Salle. And Debbie called me in school to tell me that. You know how she did it? She said to me, I guess you're going to be all right now. You have a new girlfriend. So, there it is. Before I get into the side, I want to recognize just one more person as I brought an index card here, because I never usually write anything down. I want to recognize one of my former students. 45 years ago, he's a profile in courage in my book. For 30 years, he was the scorekeeper for my girls' basketball teams in Bethlehem. And I love this kid. He's no longer a kid anymore. Mike Jackson. Thank you, Mike. So I want to tell two quick stories about what I found so special about this. One of them happened, the first one in 2005. We just won an incredible section of the championship. And we're losing the game 7-0 in the fourth inning. Most of the people went home. And we ended up winning that game 8-7 in extra innings. And now we're off to Rome, New York, to Lewis Field, the Air Force Base, but the New York State regional game against Cicero North Syracuse, a formidable opponent. And I'm on the field, walking, pacing, nervous the way I usually am before a game. One of the team's parents, Mr. Hudl, whose son Sam was captain, one of the two captains of that team. In fact, I always describe Sam Ogden as an angel on earth. And his dad is a great guy, very soft-spoken man. He comes over to me and he says, Coach, this is 45 minutes before the game. He says, Coach, I was just at the snack bar parent from Cicero in North Syracuse came over to me and he said, "We've got 4 Division I pitchers. What does your team have?" I said, "My goodness, what did you tell him?" He said, "I told him we have high SAT scores." That's the South. That's it. That's a place that has the priorities in the right place. They got it in the right order. I know my first day on the job in Salle in 2003, I was talking with 6 born kids who were trying out. Only knew 5 of them from summer baseball. And I said a little thing, most of us here are not going to be able to make a living playing baseball. But we all have to learn the lessons of commitment, being unselfish, all those kind of things. And Pat McCabe got a hold of me when I arrived the next day. He's like, "Yeah, I called from a parent last night that said you ruined his son's dream of becoming a major league player." So, all right, that's going to happen, but the South movement was the right answer. The next story is much more personal. It happened in 2007. In the middle of the season, Debbie had to undergo open heart surgery. I remember going to the hospital that day with her and her brother, 4:30 in the morning, to get her ready for that surgery. And before they rolled her into the OR, the surgeon came by. And he said, "Oh, whatever." And after they left, I turned to my brother, referring to the surgeon, I said, "I hope that guy has a good day." And it was a long, it was supposed to be a 3.5-hour surgery, lasted 7 hours. And then it was a difficult recovery. She couldn't come home from the hospital for 10 days. And when she came home from the hospital, guess what happened? The families of the LaSalle baseball team for the next 2 weeks brought dinners to our house every day. Channel 10 was so impressed with this story that they came to my house and put their cameras on the inside of my refrigerator. What was I impressed about? I'm not even really working at a school. I'm working at a family that is a school. How could I end up in this place? It's just amazing to me. And I need to mention a few things about the school, most notably Coach Mo, as I said, known as Pat McCabe. I mean, how often do you work with somebody and they end up being like a friend away from work? Debbie and I were in Florida. She's from Florida. And I said, she lives down in St. Petersburg and Clearwater. I said, no, we're flying to Jacksonville. And we'll rent a car for us way because I want to stop and say hi to Coach Mo. And he was, listen, and you're a teacher or a coach. I'm saying to say a deserving teacher or a deserving coach. You cannot survive without the support of the administration. No way, you cannot survive. And at LaSalle, that support, at least for me, never wavered. It was always there. Win, lose, draw, whatever the case may be. Then I want to mention my players. Yes, there were 11 players I've been lucky enough to coach. That made professional baseball. One a major league and one a major league manager. You know what my claim to fame is with those people? Is that I didn't screw them up. They were already great. You back off, give them a good practice, and let them do what they're able to do. And all those other ones, my childhood coach famously said, when asked if he ever produced any major leaguers, he said, "I've produced a lot of police officers, firefighters, and businessmen, and they're all major leaguers in my eyes." And exactly how I feel. The biggest joy I have is when I run into a former student or a former athlete, and they bring me up to date on their life, and I'm so happy to hear it. I believe that most people, and I emphasize the word most, I'm not saying all, most people eventually grow up. Unfortunately, they don't do it at the same pace. So we need to be patient and we need to hang in there with them. But I've had such wonderful kids that I've coached and taught. In fact, they say, I won a sectional championship at Bethlehem, I won 2 at the Salle. Every one of those games was a walk-off victory. 2 of them in extra innings, the other one came in the bottom of the 7th. I had players that could perform with grace under pressure. You know what? Give the family some credit. Because, you know, let's face it, the easiest job in the world to get, but the hardest job in the world to do, is being a parent. And as a teacher or a coach, I can tell you without hesitation that if the parent is not supportive of their child, the odds against me go way up. It all starts in the home and with the family. And I want to pay special mention to Jared Henkel because he's being honored today. I want you to have the coach's perspective of a player like Jared. He was going through one of the most tragic events in anybody's life. And he had his mom's initials printed on his hat. And I was a sight to behold to see how he dedicated that season to his mother's memory. He left no stone unturned in every way. And he was the captain of the team. And you know, the team chose him as captain. I didn't choose him. All I did was tell the team what the qualifications should be. And they chose him, and Matthew drove. And Jared knows how to be a leader. You lead by example. There's too many times in this world today that people, you know, do what I say, but not what I do. Your actions speak louder than your words. And Jared was a great role model for his teammates. And anytime you gain accolation and admiration from a peer group, then you know it's well earned. And I'll tell you one little anecdote about Jared that it occurred in the middle of the 7th inning of the second chief championship game against Columbia. We had just escaped a Houdini-like escape from the top of the 7th inning that Columbia didn't score the go-ahead run. And when we came off the field, we were all charged up. And I know this is hard to believe, but the coach was uncharacteristically verbally paralyzed. I mean, I almost got a heart attack on the top of the 7th. And Jared took over and the team hung. And I wish I could repeat the exact words he said, but I guess it wouldn't be totally appropriate. So I'll just say this. To paraphrase Jared, he said, let's show these guys that we can beat the suburban council. We're not inferior to them. We can beat them. Because LaSalle is the only team in baseball history in Section 2 to ever win a sectional in Double A. Always the suburban council. There's no other Big Ten team to win a Double A sectional, and we didn't do it once, we did it twice. And after Jared's little pep talk, we went out and won that game. So the way I describe Jared Henkel, on a team that was 27-1, Jared Henkel was the heart and soul of that team. I want to finish up. Thank you, Jared. I make a habit of never writing anything down when I have to do these things, but I did write a book. It got published in 2017, and I want to share with you one paragraph about that book, about LaSalle, what I have to say about LaSalle. One paragraph. To be sure, the process of transitioning from a large suburban public high school to a medium-sized Catholic school centered around a strict leadership training program required a certain mental adjustment, or at least one would think so. As it turned out, my transition to the quote LaSalle way was quite smooth. Of course, the leadership and religious components of the LaSalle ethos and syllabus were new to me, but the values which the 174-year-old educational institution sought to inculcate its students with honesty, commitment, diligence, trustworthiness, and loyalty were not. It It was true that LaSalle and I had taken different paths to these values, but our final destinations were and remain remarkably similar. I might not have served in the military, as some of my new colleagues had. I may have been raised in the Jewish faith and not the Catholic one, but it soon became clear to me that LaSalle and I were a superb, if not somewhat incongruous match. A match made in heaven? I'm not sure about that. But certainly a match made in baseball heaven. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach. Before you leave today, Coach, I want you to know that you and your co-host of Family and Friends set a record. You have 47 family and friends members here, and that is a record for the LaSalle Hall of Fame ceremony. Prior to leaving, gather yourself, give thoughts to family, and keep in mind the sentiment that you've heard here today with regard to truth, honor, duty. Christian brothers, LaSalle faculty, LaSalle coaches, one of a kind. You know it, and I know it. Just pause for a second and be grateful for who we are. Take care of yourself over the weekend. I believe it's a great weekend for family to do a little fall forward looking, what have you. Grab yourself an apple or an apple pie or whatever. But take care of yourselves. To those who haven't been here for a while, welcome home, because this will always be your home. St. John Baptist of LaSalle, with Jesus in our hearts. Thank you very much. Be careful, guys.
Stop.